going on that side over there. It looks really pretty. Oh, here they come. Look you all. This is where the husband has the barbecue pit. And there's a lot of dry area right there, which is understandable. But over here, the grass was really pretty. And now there's like that brown spot there. I don't know why. Why is there only a brown spot here? Yep, look. Like the grass was literally burnt. What happened? That wasn't there before. I promise you all. That was not there before. I don't know what's going on. That suddenly just came out of nowhere. But there's the moon. You can actually see the moon tonight. Let's get in here. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. So happy Wednesday. It is 77 degrees. Turn that down. I try to hurry when I come in here because I don't want to get attacked. So thank goodness I have a napkin. I have forgotten to grab one. I don't like being attacked by insects. I do not like insects. The yellow light that I have is helping somewhat. That yellow light that I have up there, it's supposed to keep the insects away. And look, my neighbor has one too. So hopefully with both of ours together, it'll work in keeping the insects away from this side at least. But I don't know. They all seem to like my door for some reason. I wonder why. I wonder if it's because in the corner. I don't know. Excuse me. I was supposed to get an oil change today. Ow. I just pulled my hair when I put the seat belt on. Good grief, moon. Yeah, I was supposed to go get an oil change today, but my son gets his new schedule every Tuesday, and today he had to go in a little earlier, so I had to like cancel it, and now I have it for Friday. So I'm like, all right. Oh look, my daughter-in-law's home. On Wednesdays she has Bible study. She's still in her car. Yeah, on Wednesdays she has Bible study. It's about to end, and they're gonna start a new one, and she invited me to that one. I might go. I don't know yet. I think I need to throw this one away already. It's got no cream in it. Oh, I was hoping to get a little bit out, but I think it's completely done. We've had it long enough in here. Oh, I got a little bit. This cream right here. See how it's completely done already? Somebody's coming behind me. Who's that behind me? Is she leaving? It seems like she's leaving. Huh, I thought she was already coming back. Maybe she's gonna go pick up my son. I have no idea where this chick is going. Anyway, not my business. So anyhow, yeah, so I had to reschedule the oil change for Friday this time, which is okay, I guess. They're gonna put some kind of treatment that they call Auto Butler on the car to protect the paint, to protect the interior. At least I hope they're gonna do it in both places, because sometimes they only do it on one. And hopefully, they said it was free, because I don't recall paying for that in my contract, but I will ask tomorrow just to make sure. It does take 2 to 3 hours, so that's the bummer. And it really does take just 1 hour, but they give you that timeline of 2 to 3 hours because of other cars in front. And then I take it back. The 2 hours it may take, that's the limit, because It takes 1 hour for the treatment to be on the vehicle and the interior, and then afterwards they wash it and dry it up for you, and you get it all nice and pretty. So yeah, it does take at least 2 hours, but it does depend on how many vehicles are in front, because I remember when I worked at the dealership, some people would get really, really upset because they would get there really early, like right at 8 o'clock, and they wouldn't get their vehicles till after lunch. And they'd be like, my appointment was at 8. Yes, but you need to like know that they have the vehicles the day before. And it's even worse on a Monday, because on Monday they're working on vehicles that sold on Saturday. Those are priority. And then they get to yours. Well, that's not what they told me. Well, they didn't tell you anything. I'm telling you. You know, that's the way they work. So hopefully they will get to mine in a timely manner, you know. And then they are going to do an oil change and tire rotation. All of that is free the first time, you know. After that, yeah, I am going to have to pay for it. I don't know about the treatment though. That you can get every 3 months. I don't know, like I said, if that's included. Buick used to give you at least 4 oil changes, you know, for a year. You had to use them within the year, I believe, but they would give you free 4 oil changes. Now they only give you 1, which sucks. Buick, why are you doing that? Well, I don't care now, because now you're going to do it for the newer cars, new customers. But like your faithful customers, this is my 3rd Buick. You should give me at least 6 oil changes, if not more. But anyway, and then they also used to give you XM radio for 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. And now it's only 1 month. But you know, XM is not too big of a deal, because we were already customers. They gave us a deal. You know, they always give you like discounts and stuff like that. So we're only paying like $10 for 2 vehicles for XM radio, and it's everything. Everything's included. And I can listen to it at home as well. Not that I do, because this new computer that we have sucks. We have to pay for everything. The other computer that my husband had everything all built in already. He got that done a long, long time ago. Now we have to pay extra for all that, and it sucks. I had a hard time trying to print some stuff earlier, but I got it done. And ChatGPT actually helped me with that. But yeah, I had to like even move some scheduling around for that and stuff, and hopefully it works out, you know. But I was listening to a YouTuber, and I wasn't even going to talk about that, but I'll talk about it briefly, because it's his channel, and I was just going to like talk about an experience with what he was talking about. He was talking about how we're like flowers, and we need to be watered, or else we wither away and die, which I was just like, yep, that's what I tell the husband all the time, you know. And he even was talking about like past experiences, toxic people in the workplace, stuff like that. And that's what got my like, oh man, you know, it took me back to when I used to work at the dealership. Oh, and by the way, side note, I read before that if you have some plants, if you talk to those plants, they actually grow, they stay green. But if you just like don't talk to them at all, they don't get to flourish, you know. They won't stay green. They will actually die on you. So yeah, talk to your plants. Anyhow, hi, how you doing? Yeah, okay. Go get your sandwich. Thank you. I told my son I'm gonna put a sign like in preschool, where you put a sign and you say, picking up my son. That's what I'm gonna put. I'm gonna put right here, because people, every time they drive up, they look at me. Anyway, so I was thinking back to the dealership, and I was like, And he was saying something like, and people can see that you're unhappy because they drain you of your energy. That was the whole point of his video, how people drain you of your energy and you're left with nothing. And this could be anybody that's doing it to you, your family members, a friend, such and such, you know. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And immediately I thought about my job, my ex-job. I mean, I still feel like I'm there. My ex-job and my cousin. You know, the one infamous cousin that I don't talk about anymore, or talk to, rather. That is something she did to me for years, you all. She used me to get her energy fix and drained me all of my energy. And he pointed out some things that really made a lot of sense to me, because suddenly you felt like you have no motivation to do anything. You have these plans, you know, that you want to do, you know, with your life or for the day or what have you, but you just can't seem to get it done. You can't seem to get it started even, because people drain you of your energy. And, you know, and I hate to say it this way, but we allow it. You know, we sit there and we listen to them and we give them all our good energy, and then we're left drained. And that is something I wish he would have brought up, because, yeah, we cannot give our power over to anyone unless we allow it, you know? But anyhow, when you mentioned about the unhappiness and the coworkers and all, I remember many times my coworkers telling me, what's wrong? You look sad today. You look unhappy and stuff like that, you know? And I'm like thinking like, no, I'm fine. But deep down, I knew that I was unhappy in my job. I mean, I was there for 10 years. And in 10 years, I took a lot of emotional beatings. Not just from my coworkers and managers that were on their power trip, but also from customers. And customers over the phone and in person. And customers, you know, I later now know what the term self-awareness means. Well, they had none of it. And I had no idea that's what it was called back then. But they had none of that. I know the employees did. I know they had self-awareness. And I know the managers did. But customers had none. They were very entitled. They were rude. And they respected no one. They acted like they owned a piece of the dealership because they got a vehicle. And somehow they were offended anytime I would tell them, oh yeah, you know, that's a really good car. I have this. And they would look at me like, you drive that? Yeah. I mean, it's just, they act like they're the only ones that can afford something and nobody else can. You know? And it's just really weird. It's a very weird thing. It's like working at a really high-end store at the mall, you know? Like, say, I don't know, Dillard's. I don't know what high-end, what big old name labels there are at the mall now. I haven't been in the mall in years, but let's say Dillard's, okay? You work there, I work there, you know, and somebody wants to buy Chanel, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that would be perfect. I have one in pink, and they look at me like, you wear Chanel? Don't you just work here? You know, like that. Like, come on now. And no, we weren't given any discounts, by the way. They did tell you, you have the option of an employee discount of 10%. Wow. 10% off of 40 grand. Wow, that's going to help a lot, right? But what they would really give you is the incentives that came with every vehicle, you know? So that's what helped the most. And then they would screw you over anyway with all the other little expenses that they would add on. But that's another story for another time. But anyway, yeah, and I remember thinking like I was very unhappy. I was very drained. I remember sometimes waking up, having to go to work, and I would literally cry on my way to work because I did not want to be there. I didn't want to be there. And I would go in anyway, and the moment that I would walk in, of course, I would walk in with this heaviness. Now, I tried to make the best of everything, but it didn't help when you had managers, like I said, they had this ego trip, and then they also had their own attitude that they would bring. And I'll never forget this one general manager. I will call him R. That's his first name, that starts with his first name, the letter R, without saying his name. But I kid you not, anytime he would walk in, there was this thickness in the air. He just brought this heaviness in with him. It was like a dark cloud coming in the dealership when he walked in, and you felt it. Well, at least I did. And maybe that's because, like I said, I'm sensitive to certain things. I don't always pick up on things like that, but man, did I pick it up on him heavily. Now, what I can't say about R is that I did see him at my church many years back, so I'm hoping he's doing better now. I'm hoping that, he's transformed, he's saved. I know that he's married now. He was married back then, the wife cheated, they got a divorce. Now he remarried years later, and he has 2 boys, very cute little boys. I'm sure they're older now, but yeah, he just had this heaviness with him, and it would last until he would leave. And I'm not kidding you, the time would go so slow. Just for 1 minute to go by, it would be like tick, 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 tick. And you're just like, come on, But he would finally leave, and it was like, okay, we could breathe again. Now, I understand that the reason maybe that I picked up on this from him is because he was on a tremendous, and that's an understatement, a tremendous amount of stress. I know that the owners were always on him, and he had this business he had to run. They had to make so much money per month. It was just a really big thing there, and a lot of general managers felt that pressure as well, and that's why we always had different general managers. And every general manager that would come in, if you want to know why I was always so stressed, is because they came in with quote unquote new bright ideas, and their bright ideas included me. Staying later, answering the phone a certain way, trying to push sales in the phone calls. Something that was not, it was out of the scope for me, because that was not part of our job duties as receptionist. We weren't going to get commission from talking customers into buying a certain vehicle. Hello, sir. Yeah. Good luck with your sandwich. Yeah, enjoy it. What did you get, by the way? Oh, that sounds really good. Yeah, he got a foot long too. So anyhow, why do they look at me? I look like shit. Anyway, maybe that's what they're looking at. Like, oh, who's that lady with glasses and looking like shit, with her 60s ponytail. Anyhow, so, we didn't get that. So why were we expected to? And even my office manager at the time, the one I started out with, he also started out with the letter R. He was also even like, no, that's not your job. You don't have to do that. And he also, I loved R because I'll call him RU, because he would put the managers in their place. He protected me a lot. He liked me as an employee. He always thought I did a good job. I always trained the other people well. He's like, no, you're not gonna get rid of this one. She's under me. I'm protecting her. It was all great, and it wasn't until another lady took over that everything went downhill, and that's why I left. But anyway, well, that was part of the reason why I left. Anyhow, so yeah, it was just a lot of stuff going on, and I never did my series like I wanted to about working at this dealership. There is just so much, and believe it or not, I still have like PTSD from there. I thought I had gotten over it already, but I haven't, because when I tell you all that I took a lot of beatings, a lot of emotional beatings, I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you one bit. It was the worst job I'd ever had, and it was also the best job I ever had, if that makes any sense. I met some good people there. They're not here anymore, unfortunately. They have passed away. I know that's really weird to say, like, what do you mean, Moon? Like, they passed away. They were older in age, and they had health issues. And it was probably part of the job. Let me tell you this much. When I first started this job at this dealership, I ended up in the hospital twice. I ended up having a kidney infection and then a kidney stone. Why? Because I was not allowed to go to the bathroom all day long. That's not true. That can't be, Moon. No, it is true. Anytime that I would ask any of the office staff if they could watch the phone for me, if I can transfer the calls back there so I can just go pee really quick to go relieve myself, and come right back. I'm busy. I can't. Transfer them over there. Transfer them over here. I can't. In any place that I would call, I would get the same runaround until finally I had to just leave. I had to just let the phone ring, go to the bathroom, and come right back. I kid you not. And then, yes, sometimes I would get in trouble with it, but I would say, like, I'm sorry, I had to go pee. And then when I ended up at the hospital, I told them, I said, I ended up in the hospital because I could not go urinate when I needed to. That happened to me twice. Yep. So, yeah, I have a lot of horror stories. And like I said, I do have a lot of PTSD from there. And I'm not kidding you. But maybe I'll do a part 2 tomorrow. My son's working late all this week. So maybe I'll do a part 2. Anyhow. You all, I need to get into this because it's still affecting me so emotionally. If you have not watched The Testaments, first watch The Handmaid's Tale. And then The Testaments. It'll make more sense. But if you have not watched The Testaments, oh my God, you are missing out. Yesterday's finale, I'm not kidding you, I stayed up till 11 to watch it. So I was up from 11 to about 12 o'clock. And then I was so emotional over it that I couldn't go to sleep. I finally fell asleep like about 1 or 2 in the morning just to wake up at 8. But it was that good. The only thing that threw me off, though, if you're familiar, if you have seen The Handmaid's Tale, June already had Hannah with Luke. Yeah, that's his name. And then, of course, Hannah gets taken. June is forced to become a handmaid. Luke goes back to where they're from. I don't know, Boston, I think. And then June never gets to really see Hannah anymore. I'm going to put it like that in case you haven't watched it. I know I gave some of it away. Okay, let me say, what do they call it? Spoiler alert, okay? So, June ends up with one of the guardians, and his name is Nick, and spoiler alert, she has a baby. Nicole, is this the same guy again? It is, he's back. Uh-oh. What happened? Now he's not too friendly. He didn't say hi to me this time. Uh-oh. Is that the same guy or not? I think so. Oh, he walked in and now he's leaving. Oh, and apparently he goes to Memorial. Hi, yeah. What happened with your sandwich? You didn't like it? Oh, he came back. He's getting something from his truck. I'm informing you all of this. This is better than the Testaments. Yep. Now he's going back in. Oh no, he's looking. He went around the other way. I would show you all, but then he's going to see me holding up my phone. Let me just act casual, not look. Sir, I don't even know why you're flirting with me. You're in high school. I'm old enough to be your grandmother. In fact, maybe I am. What the hell is he doing? Where are my keys? It's almost time for my son to close, so you better hurry up, son. Oh, look, I'm calling him son too. Oh my God. I have three sons now. I have my older son, I have this child, and now I have the child next to me that keeps saying hello to me for some reason. Freaking me out. Are my doors locked? Yeah, they are. Did you find what you need? No, he hasn't found it. What happened? A pickle came out of your sandwich or what? Good grief. Now he's looking in the trunk. Oh, God. Now he's coming beside me again. Oh, now he's getting in the driver. He can't find what he's looking for. He can't find for that missing pickle. Oh. Did he find it? Yep, he found the missing pickle. He's leaving now. There he goes. Wow, that was weird. Okay, I completely forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about the Testaments. Oh, yeah. So June and Nick have Nicole. And in the Testaments, spoiler alert, they meet each other, and Nicole and Hannah meet each other. Of course, they have different names. Hannah is now Agnes, Nicole is now Daisy, but they're the same age. That is not possible, Miss Atwood. That is not possible. That's the name of the author, right? Margaret Atwood? That's not possible, Miss Atwood. Why would you allow Hulu to make that adjustment? They cannot be the same age. June gets with Nick much later. Hannah's already like, what, 5, 6 years old when she got taken? How can they be the same age? Anyway. What I don't like a little bit about the direction of the Testaments, though, and I'll be honest, is that they're trying to make it seem like teenage girls rock. Like, you can't mess with a teenage girl. Let's make it more into justice, huh? Instead of making it all about teenagers and women, you know, like, let's just make it about justice and how women are being treated in that storyline, you know, and how they want justice, other than mutilating the men that cause things, you know. But anyway, I think my story of the guy with the truck next to me is way better than how I'm telling this story. But that's all I've got tonight. Hopefully he doesn't come back, because that would be really weird. And my son better hurry up and close up. I want to get the heck out of here. I have counseling tomorrow. I need to write down what I want to talk about, because I know I'm going to go in there and talk about one thing for a whole hour and then leave upset that I didn't bring up anything else. You know? So, maybe I'll just summarize what we talked about last week about me and that sensitivity with touching. I'll just summarize that. But yeah, I'll talk about something else too. Something heavily on my mind. Oh, and by the way, I don't need to bring that up. But I really want to get into The Walking Dead. You know, I started talking about the dealership. This is why I don't talk about the dealership, because I started talking about The Walking Dead. I was talking to ChatGPT about it, and we were going back and forth. And I was just like, why did Glenn and Maggie decide to have a baby? Even after Maggie had to deliver Lori's baby by C-section to where Lori died. And even like that, they struggled keeping Judith alive, feeding her. You know, she almost got eaten by walkers, I don't know how many times. And Maggie and Glenn decide, yeah, let's get pregnant. Why not? It's the apocalypse. We're probably going to die anyway. Let's just get pregnant. You know, why? Why? Why did they just do a brief little wedding, you know? That would have been more romantic than, oh, we're pregnant. No. You know, like Abraham and Sasha thought about it. Abraham was like, would you do that? And Sasha's like, what? And she's like, sure. You know? And it's like, they thought about it, but they didn't follow through. Glenn and Maggie didn't even think about it. They just kept like screwing and screwing throughout the whole show until she finally ends up pregnant. Why? Why? Makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, my son finally turned off the lights. He needs to put the close sign instead of the open sign. The open sign's still on. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I know it's all over the place. That's how my mind thinks. Sometimes I can't even keep up with myself. Hope you all had a really great hump day, and I will talk to you all again soon.